Well, you guys, we saved one of the best for last. It's Shawn he's a family guy. He's married with 3 kids, and he's here tonight, I think, with his girlfriend. Anyway, Shawn Robertson.
For those of you who have kids, or who are planning to have kids, or who don't use condoms, I have a little advice. Praise everything your kids do, if you want to really screw with their heads. My mom praised me all the time. It made me feel so proud. Until one day, I built a birdhouse out of popsicle sticks. And it was a piece of junk. It looked like a bunch of sticks had gotten in a glue fight. It was clearly unfit for avian habitation. It wasn't a birdhouse, it was a bird ghetto. It was a place where birds would come to deal crack. I had to get nervous, but I showed it to my mother. Oh, it's beautiful. And then I realized that my mother was lying to save my feelings. What if all her words of praise were lies? My confidence was shattered. From that day on, I viewed every compliment with suspicion. In high school, great game, son. But I never got off the bench. I was never sure. I literally carried that birdhouse with me in college. You were great in bed. Really. I wonder what you think of my birdhouse. I think it looks very nice. That's what I thought. You know, it's exasperating for my wife. She says, I can't compliment you on anything. If I say your act is great, you don't believe me. Maybe I should say it's terrible. I knew it. So I don't want to screw up my kids like me. So my daughter brings me a drawing. She says, look, Papa, I drew you. Oh, honey, it looks good. You see how my arms stick out like this? You've drawn a stick man with hands. Why didn't you draw Daddy's muscles? I didn't see any. See how honesty begets honesty? Sweetheart, what do you think of Daddy's birdhouse? It sucks. Mission accomplished. I like to think that I'm a cultured person. I don't really have anything to back that up with. But my wife did trick me into going to the Rembrandt exhibit when it came to Rog. And that was really an eye-opener. There was a sign there that said, no photography. It's like, what kind of people do they think come to these things? Like, we don't know Rembrandt is a painter. They thought I was a complete idiot. Sir, let me remind you, you cannot take pictures. No shit. They're worth over $1 million each. I mean, you know they're valuable because they're so well guarded. What master thief could outwit the velvet rope? I could just reach. And you know those things are good at stopping thieves because they use them for banks too. But I wonder what's so precious at the movie theater. So we walked around the exhibit, and there was a self-portrait there that blew me away. I mean, I can't take a picture of myself with a camera. And Rembrandt paints himself. But, you know, he looks so glum in the picture. And I think I know why. See, they have to paint by looking at a mirror. So Rembrandt starts off with, you know, with a nice smile. And by noon, he's got a painting of a psychopath. What you think about this painting with the smile, Mama? I think it looks beautiful. Just like the birdhouse. So I found out that a lot of the paintings were not actually done by Rembrandt. They're done by his students in his art school. They found it out with X-ray photography. They could see all these little numbers. And the investigators were able to, shall we say, connect the dots. So now I'm thinking, how do I know this is any good? This could have been painted by Jan the Dunce. You know, Rembrandt might have given him a D- for all I know. This painting stinks. You stink. Get out of my art school. So on Friday at the museum, they sell wine. Now, if you drink and look at naked women at the Lizard Lounge, you're a sleazebag. But at the art museum, you're a sophisticate. That's why they call those people intellectuals. So I was all kind of caught up in the spirit of the museum, and it convinced me to buy a membership. It was not cheap. But now, when there's a new exhibit in town, instead of sitting at home and watching TV like a moron, I can sit at home and watch TV and feel guilty about not using my membership. And I've heard that when a painter dies, their work suddenly is worth a lot of money. That's gotta be so impressive. If I was a painter, that'd make me want to kill myself. I think sometimes if I was a comedian, I'd want to kill myself. And the other day, and tell me if you've heard this, I heard that the average man thinks about sex every 7 seconds. Is that crazy? It seems like a long time to go without thinking about it. Now, if that's true, it means it's happening right now in this room. Hey! Knock it off, Todd. You're bringing down the average person. But how'd they figure this out, this 7 seconds thing? What was it, a scientific experiment? They must have got a bunch of college frat boys who needed beer money. Come in, guys, sit down. I want to thank you all for participating in this experiment. Now, my assistant is going to ask you every 7 seconds if you're thinking about sex. Svetlana, the boys are ready. actually studied to be a scientist myself, but I never did that kind of research. I wanted to be an entomologist, a studier of insects, bugs for the layman. So naturally, my research was about mosquito sex. Now, I found out that my professor was a sick, sick individual. Because mosquitoes, and I'm going to tell you, this is all absolutely true, okay? This is not made up. This is real. I am an entomologist. This is how it goes down. You can look it up on the internet. There's a YouTube video about it. It's kind of horrible. Now, mosquitoes have sex high in the air. They didn't want to do it in the little cage with me watching them. Even when I pretend to look away. They weren't buying it. So it became my task, this is real, to force mate them. Some of you might be thinking, that's a little weird. A little weird? So first, you take the female and anesthetize her. So she's laid out on the lab bench, unconscious. Nitrogen, the date rape drug of the insect world. And then you have to take the male with his little forceps and bring him in for the deed. Now, male mosquitoes have tiny little brains. They can't be thinking about sex every 7 seconds. And this isn't, they know when something ain't right. And they have some performance issues under those circumstances. So you have to pull their heads off. And then they loosen up and they lose their inhibitions and everything goes Please, ladies, do not try this at home. You think I'm proud of this research? I'm not. It haunts me. Because I think they know. And on a summer night, lying in bed, they sneak through a crack and they buzz around my head. Thanks, everybody.
Shawn Robertson.